promoted it to all my groups, so we'll see what happens.
Excellent, excellent. Well, hello,
Anyway.
everyone. Looks like we're live. We're going to wait a couple of minutes till people join. Sue and I were just catching up in the meantime on how busy. And I take it it's going well, Sue, in your case?
Oh my gosh, this is an amazing time. It's such an amazing time. And, you know, there's so many different people that have different views about it. But the bottom line is, for business, I believe it's the best time, absolutely the best time to start a business, and the best time to get your business, I mean, doing all the things you probably wanted to do when we were so busy and the way the times were. But there's a lot of people that have told me, well, I've always wanted to get my business online, but they didn't have time because they were so busy. And now it's like they're getting to do these things. So I just love that. I love that.
That's fantastic. All right, so we've got a bunch of people joining. So welcome, everyone. We can get started. So delighted to welcome Sue Brooke for our third interview in our local leader interview series. The first one, in case you missed it, was with Martin Brosman about local meetups. The second one was with Sunil about really, large-scale networking groups and how to build it, how to set up educational events. And we're very excited today with Sue to talk about masterminds. And some of you may know what masterminds are. Some of you may not know what masterminds are. So don't worry about it. We'll clarify everything. It's going to be fantastic. Sue's amazing at a lot of different things. So we'll talk about this. So just a little point of note, questions. Feel free to put your questions in the chat. And we will cover them at the end of the presentation. So feel free to put those in there. So I'm just going to go to presentation mode and we'll get started with some quick introductions. All right. So this is virtual networking and mastermind groups. I'm just going to check to make sure that we're good to go. Excellent. So for those of you who attended the last few meetings, this is me. I'm Alignable co-founder and president. I'm a serial entrepreneur, mostly technology companies. I'm an advisor to a bunch of different private and public companies as well. But more importantly, I'm really passionate about helping entrepreneurs and small businesses, which is why I started Alignable. I'm also a father of 4, and I live outside Boston. But enough about me. Let's talk a little bit about Sue. So over to you.
All right, so it's not coming up here. So I'm Sue Brooke. I am a speaker, author, business and marketing strategist, a relationship marketing and networking expert, and you'll find out why I consider myself definitely the latter, for sure, with my story. I am definitely a serial entrepreneur. I've owned businesses since I was about 22, 23 years old. I went to school to be an elementary school teacher, started working at Fred Astaire dance studio, and then I started my own ballroom dance studio at that young age. I knew nothing about business, so I've learned a lot since then. I, along with Venkat too, so passionate about empowering and educating entrepreneurs. It's in my heart. I've owned, my claim to fame is an educational learning center I'll tell you about in a minute. And I'm a Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses alumni. If you haven't heard of them, you should look them up. They're doing amazing things for small business.
And Sue, that was where you heard about Alignable first, right? Like when we were talking earlier, you said you ran into somebody who had a booth there.
Yes, way back in, I guess it was 2014 or so when Alignable just started. It had to have been 2014. We used to have these big events. They'd invite a lot of people that had different companies, and I'll never forget, for some reason, out of all the millions of booths and things that I met, I just remember that purple booth of Alignable and meeting and going, this is going to be big. Oh yeah, I love purple. But I just knew it was going to be an amazing resource. Yeah.
So you've been a great member. You've helped a lot of other members, more importantly, like you are now. But before we go there, you're based in Sebastopol, California.
Yes.
But the story of how you ended up there says a lot about you. So tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, well, okay. So I had my tutoring. I had a school. It was tutoring after school, summer camps, private school for 19 years. I literally started that business out of my living room, and I sold it in 2015. And it'll be 3 years, July 1st. July 1st will be 3 years. I got a crazy message on Facebook Messenger from a woman that said, "Hi, I'm a cousin of your mother's, and my mother died when I was 8 years old." And so I thought, well, okay. And she said, "I have something really important to tell you. Can you call me?" And I thought, well, I don't even know. I lost track of that side of the family. And long story short, her nephew had put his DNA into Ancestry. It matched up with a girl up in Sebastopol, California, who turns out to be my half sister. There we are. We share the same mother. Our mother came to California from Nebraska back in 1954. And she had Kathy, that's my sister, and she gave her up for adoption and gave her away right away and never told anyone. So through the power of ancestry, DNA, everything happened. I found a sister, or she found me rather.
And
And that's
you guys did not coordinate your outfits, right?
we did
That's
not
what's
coordinate. That's the day we met. Literally, I drove up here, got out of the car. Her sister-in-law was filming us, and she said, "Look at the two of you." And we went, "Oh my goodness!" And so we do this all the time. Literally, we come out of the house with the same clothes on. We're
that's
so
amazing.
similar.
But says a lot about you. Here you are with your business, you've sold it, and then you just uproot yourself and then move to Sebastopol, and you're like super popular there among the business owners. You've networked your way, and it has a lot to do with your background. So tell us a little bit about your background in entrepreneurship. So we have a picture here of your learning center.
Yes, that was literally started out of my living room with tutoring, and I grew into a 5,000 square foot learning center. I had a location also in San Diego. This was in Santa Clarita, California, by the way.
Got it.
Yeah, and I sold that business in 2015 because I just had such a passion. I made all the mistakes with my businesses, and I really wanted to go out and help other business owners and entrepreneurs start and grow their businesses.
And so this is what you're doing now. So you have you're speaking, you're coaching, you're doing masterminds.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us about your business today.
Yeah, so when I found out about my sister, and I came up here a few times to Sonoma County, and she had me speaking at some networking groups, real estate offices, and women's groups, and about just marketing, like basic marketing and business, and it was like there was these sponges up here, and so I didn't know anyone, by the way, when I moved up here, not a single person. So I had to go
That's
back.
incredible.
Yes,
That's
I had to
absolutely
go back
incredible.
with what I knew, and I knew I had to build relationships. And I have to say that Alignable was a huge part of me being able to meet local business owners, because I knew from being one of the first Alignable members that that's where they were, or at least the people that knew about it. So Alignable, Meetup, Facebook, Chamber Mixers, all those things. And I created a system, I put it on here, referral generation, follow-up customer retention system. And I teach networking for introverts. That's like my passion.
And
So
then you have this other thing you're doing now with Masterminds. And I thought
yes,
your story of how you discovered Masterminds. So some of the people in the audience don't know what a mastermind is. So tell us
that's
about
right.
your experience of how you encountered it for the first time. That was a great story you told me.
Oh yeah. So back in Santa Clarita, there was the SBDC, Small Business Development Center, and the Chamber. They had this thing. Someone told me that I needed to go check out this little mastermind group, and I thought, what's a mastermind? I was just picturing like this wizard with a wizard hat. I didn't know what it was. Like a mastermind. It sounded really cool. But I didn't
Right.
know what it was. So I went ahead and went because some people I knew were there, and they said, "Well, Sue, do you want to be the focus of the mastermind next week?" And so there were all of these business owners, some of my peers, but then there were also some people there that were retired business owners that were experts that were there just giving back. So I went in there and I sat in the hot seat, they called it, and they said, "Well, what are your challenges? What questions do you have?" And I started asking questions, and for an entire hour, it was all about me and my business. And I left there I can't even begin to tell you what the power of that was. It was just amazing. And
and all of these folks, like, how many people were there in that SBDC meeting?
maybe 8 or 10.
8
Very
or 10
small
people.
group.
So you're sitting there and you're in the hot seat telling everybody about your business, and
Yes.
and you're the focus of attention. That's incredible.
It was amazing. So I was a part of that for a while there, for the next year, and I after I sold my business and I moved up here, and I've been a member of bigger masterminds. Like I'm going to go ahead and go with this slide here. So if you don't know what a mastermind is, basically read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Andrew Carnegie is the one that actually started the Mastermind Group with people like Henry Ford, and all of the big people. And so what it is basically every person has a very powerful mind. But when you put two or more minds together, and Napoleon Hill says, it forms a third mind, which is an energy that just goes through the group. And when everyone's focusing on one challenge or one thing, it's just, it's almost hard for me to say it in words. But basically, Napoleon's is a coordination of knowledge and effort in the spirit of harmony between two or more people for the attainment of a definite purpose. So if everybody's working on one thing, it's just magic happens. That's the best way I can explain it. And masterminds can be very expensive. I've spent many thousands of dollars on being parts of large mastermind groups. And I'm doing it right now for free. I just, when this pandemic hit, especially, I just realized that everybody needed some support, and they needed a family of other peers, and learn some things, answer people's questions about how to pivot their businesses right now.
Right.
So
and
this
these
is
are some
a
pictures, right, of you guys. This is some of your groups. Tell us about
the
it.
top one there is I started my own little group of, we called it wine tasting and masterminding that day, because I am in the wine country. So we actually went, the guy in there, Charles, he owns he was one of the businesses in the mastermind group, but he actually has a tour, wine tours. So we got in his vehicle and we went and did a couple wineries, and then we all just sat and had lunch, and we masterminded right there at a winery. That was amazing.
Oh man,
And
that sounds
then,
wonderful.
yes, and then the bottom one, Inform Fitness. They're a local fitness, really cool little place. The owner's right there in the front there. That was an Alignable training I did. I started doing Alignable trainings because I realized that I was getting referrals a lot from Alignable. So yes, that's what that one is.
Got it. All right, let's switch back to us. Give me a second here.
Yeah.
All right, so we're back. So tell us about, so let's jump into it. I mean, a lot of these introductions that we do, in this case, is because we really want the audience to know a little bit about who you are, and what you've been through, so that, when they see what you're talking about, they have that in the back of their minds. So tell us a little bit about, you're doing virtual masterminds now, and you're tell us how many you do a week and how you arrived at that number, and you tried a couple of things, they didn't work. So tell us about that a little bit.
Well, the way it kind of started is, well, I've always been doing little masterminds here and there with my own groups, but so I actually posted, I want to go back to when I really kind of started. I went on in December, I posted a question on Alignable. So now I've been on Alignable for a long time, and I've been just doing my thing, and I meet people, but I hadn't really been on there that much. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to go in and ask a question. So in December, it was before the holidays, and I posted, who in Sonoma County would like to meet in person? We're all on this thing here. Who wants to meet in person? And then the holidays came up, and I forgot, and I didn't have my notifications on. And I went back in January, and I said, I wonder if anybody answered that question. And I went, holy cow, like 35 people were like, yes, please, yes, I want to meet in person. I was like, whoa, there is something here. And then a little while later, I posted, who would like to be a part of a mastermind? So I was experimenting with the questions on Alignable, and I came back again, and people were saying, yes, there were people that didn't know what it was. They said, I think I've heard of it. And then the people that went, oh, yes, I want to meet on that level. I remember someone said that. So that's kind of what got me started. But then the whole pandemic thing started happening, and I just saw immediately the need for businesses to connect online. And so then I just started it. So what I did, what you were asking, I started going, well, I want to help everybody. That's kind of my downfall in a lot of ways, because I want to help every single person. So I thought, well, I'm going to do 9 p.m. Pacific time on Mondays, and then I'm going to do 7 a.m. on Thursdays for the East Coast people. And I'm going to do 6 o'clock p.m. and a 9:30 p.m. on these different days. And people were saying, 4 days a week, what are you doing? So that was a lot. And I found out the times that worked. So I just narrowed it down to Fridays at 9:30 Pacific time. And I'm going to be probably starting the Tuesdays at 6 p.m. again, because it's starting to get very popular.
Got it.
A lot of aha moments. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. So tell us about that. So tell us about, let's explore the format of the mastermind. So how long is it? How many people do you have in it? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, I'm looking on the chat. I see some of my members in there that have been coming every week. Even my Patty from Hawaii is on. Yay. She's one of our favorite attendees. So basically what we do is I try to keep it as much as like Napoleon Hill would explain it as I can. So basically we do this. We try to keep it small. The most we've had is, I think, 12, but what we will do when we get too many is we split them up into smaller groups. So about 8 people is about the max. It lasts about an hour and a half. So the way we start it is everybody comes in the room, and we're very serious about being on time, because a mastermind is a coordination of everybody working together for one common goal. And so it's not fair if someone comes late or has to leave early. It's very important that everyone's there at the same time. So we have our rules that we go over. Each person, the time is extremely important. We try to do between 6 and 10-minute hot seats, and actually we changed it to power seats because people thought hot seats was scary.
Yeah.
So we do that. We do have a timer, to stop him. We also say that it's not a time for you to take your whole time in the hot seat to talk. Your thing is we do a quick introductions, and then here's my question. Like one person is like, I want to start doing Facebook Lives. I don't know how. What do I talk about? Where do I post it? And then they shut up, basically. And then they allow everyone else to help them.
Got it. And so this is, just to be clear, so this is on a Zoom kind of technique. Okay. And then, so let's say that one person is talking now, and then they open it up to the floor. How do you go around the room eliciting questions? And are there some rules for how people should be talking? Because you're kind of putting yourself out there as a business owner, right? Like you put yourself in this power seat.
I love that you said that. Yes, we also make sure that we are all clear that what says in the mastermind stays there, because people will have ideas. Like, I'm thinking of doing this, and you're not allowed to steal people's ideas. That's, we make sure everybody's there. That's a big one. And we also make sure that everybody gets excited, because the whole point, the thing about the mastermind, it isn't really about the person in the hot seat. People get way more out of listening to other people's questions and action. So the people that are helping, they have to also not take up the whole time, because it's always, so what's really cool about that is everybody knows they should only answer in 30 seconds to a minute, but then they have access. Now go connect offline and have deeper conversations offline.
Got it.
So
those two folks can then connect after the meeting. Take it
and that's happening a lot. So
give us a couple of examples. So walk us through like an aha moment for one of the business owners, or a connection that was made afterwards, just to kind of.
Oh, there's so many. In fact, last Friday, it was just overwhelming of the ahas and the positive things. I mean, one of them was, I have a friend who's a CPA in New York. I've been in a mastermind with him before, and he has been doing all these different things. And he said, how do I put myself out there? Like, how do people know who I am? He's just trying to get himself branded. And so someone said, well, you need to brand yourself. So like, there's a woman out here, I think she's called the Biz Diva, and everybody knows who the Biz Diva is. They know it's her, but she's branded herself as that. So we're all masterminding now what Joe, the CPA's brand is. He's not just Joe, the CPA. That's boring, right? It needs to be something that encompasses personality.
Got it.
The other one that I want to mention, this happens a lot. I was thinking a lot about this morning. My friend Sherry, who I also saw is attending here, she's a big part of our masterminds. We connected when I first moved here. And when I first met Sherry, she had a business called Reconnect Mind, Body, Soul. She's a reconnective energy healer. And she thought that was her. She was her business. But come to find out, she owns a big plumbing company. That she started out of her living room with her husband.
That's also
I was
about
like, wait a minute, what?
Also about connections in a way, right? Different kind
Holy
of connection.
cow. And then she started a holistic chamber, and I'm like, you are amazing. I said, you need to be sherrypedrioli.com. You're Sherry Pedrioli, but you do all of these things. And so it's branding yourself. Right now, I can't be more serious than this is what I tell so many people. Right now is the time to brand you, because people in business now, and I've seen this from when I started my business pre-internet to now, is so important to brand yourself. People are buying you. People buy from people they know, like, and trust and remember.
Absolutely.
And so that's the biggest ahas I'm getting now, is people have their little businesses with their name, but it's like, no, you need to put yourself out there and be the expert. That's it.
So 8 people, I would imagine that the right 8 people can really make some magic happen, right? But what's your role in assembling those 8 people, right? Like, how do you choose who to let into each group? Because you've got multiple groups. So how do you decide to do that?
Right now on my Fridays, I've decided when I started it was going to be a paid thing. It was going to be, you can come a couple times for free, and then you'll pay, and you'll have this. I was going to make it more like a paid mastermind. And so I thought, well, you know what? Right now, during this time, I want them to be free. I want anybody to be able to join, because even $27 a month was hard for some people. So right now, what's happening is we're allowing anyone to come. And of course, we're having them register, and we know who they are. And then what's happening, though, is each one of these Fridays, people are saying, well, I want to keep going. When can we all meet again? I don't want to lose connection. Right. And so I'm finding little pods of people that want to continue on together. So that's the next goal, is to put them together like the real masterminds, where it's the same people all the time. It's developing. Right now, I just want people to learn about it.
And are you training other people to do masterminds too on their own?
Yes. I've had, in fact, I met with Tom, who I also saw is in here. I'm kind of like, my head's going over there. He's starting his own in Michigan. I've got some other people that are, the CPA I told you about, he's now started his own masterminds.
Excellent.
So we're all helping each other in that arena for sure. Yeah.
Super. And then so groups of 8, one of the things that both Sunil and Martin said in the prior interviews was the connection and that you keep with these folks after you've met them in these virtual events is very powerful, and the conversations there. And it sounds like in your case, all of you actually want to meet as a group again. But are you in between that? How do you stay in touch? Are you on email? Like, how are you guys alignable profiles, connections? Tell us about that.
Yes. Yeah, we're getting a system together where we're putting everyone, inviting them all to a Facebook group right now. So it's a private Facebook group only for people that have experienced the mastermind, because they know now what it is. And so people can ask questions and share resources and connect and build relationships. So it's pretty cool what's happening in there. So people are kind of continuing their questions, and then more people are able to help with that. So it's kind of like I've been doing these for free to see what's happening, and it's just amazing what's happening with people and how they're changing their mindsets, and they're becoming more positive and helping more people.
It sounds like setting that up in that first meeting. So you set the ground rules, you set how people can talk to each other. That really sets things in a positive direction, it sounds like.
Yeah, and someone actually said this to me. It made me so happy the other day. They said, it was my first mastermind, and you went over the rules, but you did it in a fun way, so it didn't feel like it was structured, but you made it like, oh, okay, well, yeah, no, I get this. So we're really trying to, that's the number one thing, is you have to stay positive. Everything in the mastermind has to be positive. I want to make sure I don't forget to say that, because what sometimes happens is someone will ask a question and then another person will give an answer or an idea, and they might have already tried it. So we always say, well, if you already tried it, don't say, oh, that's a dumb idea, I've already tried it.
Got it.
You know, it's like, thank you, you know, and then always just participate as well.
Got
So
it.
the positivity is a big part of it.
And have you ever had a problem with one of your attendees? I know we didn't talk about this, but I'm really curious now, because not everybody can prevent themselves from, like, you know, being who they are sometimes, right? Like, what do you do in that case?
No, that's, you know, there's always somebody that that does have that negative feeling, you know, they just, maybe they're going through something. I mean, I always take that as, okay, maybe something else is going on. So we just try to turn it around.
Okay.
I have people in there that's always in there, like my co-hosts or other people that have been there. So everybody kind of works together to kind of move it in another direction. So, but yeah, every once in a while you get that.
Yeah. Have you ever had to kick anybody off the Mastermind group? No, not. Okay.
Not yet. No.
Not yet. Not yet. I see what you mean. But when that does happen, I'm really curious. Okay.
Oh
So,
my God.
So tell us, I mean, you're obviously now very heavily networked in Sebastopol, but your masterminds are not restricted to Sebastopol, right?
Right.
So tell us, how did you grow your following? Tell us how you did that.
Okay, well, I started actually with Alignable because I knew, here's what I've learned about Alignable, especially since I moved here, and I'm a big Facebook person. So when I moved here, I didn't know anyone, and I had a system. I go to networking groups, I take selfie pictures with the person that I met, I send them a card in the mail with our picture on it, and then they call me, and then we meet for coffee, and I send them thank you cards. I'm a huge card sender.
Got it.
I have a system I created. And so then I'm starting to build that relationship. And then I add them on Facebook. So here's the issue. This is what I wanted to bring up. So Facebook is great. And I grew to 5,000 friends instantly. And I had my little system of how I met new people. I always wanted to meet business owners. And then, but Alignable, I found, are more serious business owners. Serious meaning not serious, but serious about their business. They want to grow, they want to learn, they want to connect with people. And the other thing, I've learned some tricks on Alignable of what makes it work. And the number one thing that makes it work, which is the way I understand it, your whole reason for Alignable is referrals. It's to connect and refer each other, right?
Yes.
So I started getting people calling me on the phone from Alignable. I saw you on Alignable. I saw you got a lot of recommendations. I saw that this other person is friends with you and recommends you. And I was like, well, Alignable is where it is at. So I posted about the mastermind and I started connecting with more people. I became a pro member on Alignable so that I could connect with more people. And I started inviting some that I sort of thought were key people that I'd like to be a part of it. And then, of course, I promoted on Facebook into my own group, which is all over the US. So so it just kind of randomly did that. And now people are telling people.
Got it. Now you've got the referral system working now, which is fantastic. Okay.
Yeah.
So one question before there's a ton of questions coming in. So I want to make sure we have enough time for those. Some really good ones here. But so one of the questions that I'm sure people are going to ask is, how do I organize my own mastermind? So what are like the top few tips if I want to do it? And the follow-on question to that is, can people connect with you and learn how to do it after this meeting? You know, we'll publish Sue's email if necessary. So.
Absolutely. So when I first moved here and I started meeting a lot of people, I sat down one day after being here several months and I went through my list of people that I'd met in the area. And I chose the people that I thought were either I connected with. They had to be positive. I had my own rules of who I wanted in my personal mastermind group. So I picked my friend Sherry, who I told you about. So I connected with her. I was helping her build her brand and her business, and I just loved what she was about. And she was one of those people I wanted to spend more time with. You know, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, right?
Yeah.
So I
tell my kids that all the time.
It's so true. And I wanted positivity. So I literally went through and said, these are the people I want to hang out with. and I believe can help me and I can help them. So I asked them privately, will you be a part of my own personal mastermind group? And that's where the wine tasting thing, and we started doing them in different areas. And it was the same people. And
so
that's where I started.
So handpick your first group and really sort of start there to make sure you make it good, right?
Yeah, get used to that.
By the way, Martin said exactly the same thing, right?
Really?
It seems to be a common theme, right? It's so when you start out, don't just throw it out there and expect people to show up. Like personally invite them and handpick your first group. Yeah.
Exactly. And you know, Alignable is great for that because you can actually really go in and see, research their business and them as a person. So that's one. And then just, you know, networking meetup is pretty good too, but you just got to put yourself out there and meet people. So that's like that's not the same kind of mastermind I'm doing right at the moment. So I would tell everybody should have their own mastermind group. Napoleon Hill talks about it. Everyone should do what I was just telling you, for your own, to help you with your business, you know, and get connected. So the second thing is, if you want to start one where you want to meet new people, you could do something similar to what I'm doing. As it's growing, I'm actually finding niches of groups. So like my sister is amazing at retail. That she is a complete expert in retail. So when I get people that are in retail type businesses, then I will have her take a group and lead that group of them because I know she can give them value and help them.
Got it.
That's the ultimate goal, is to get similar people together. But then again, oh my gosh, you're getting all these things thinking of this. Is I've also had people say it's really great to have someone completely outside of that niche to give you other their thoughts.
Absolutely. Yeah, that, you know, I can see how somebody outside of your industry could really think about what you're doing in a very different way. And give you some great ideas. Okay,
absolutely.
Excellent. And then, so, you know, before we jump to questions, then there are a whole lot of them. So I'm going to see if we can get to all of them. But before we jump to questions, what's sort of your, so you have a nonprofit you're thinking about. I just want to give you the time to talk about that just a little bit, because I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. So when I started this, just throwing it out there at the beginning of the pandemic and started doing all of these free mastermind things, the goal was to have people start to pay. You know, okay, you can come 2 times for free, and then you'll start paying so much per month. And when all of this just started happening and what's going on in the world right now, I said, you know what, I just really want to offer this for free. It's my heart, it's my passion, it's what drives me. So I decided, well, okay, it does take a lot of time and effort and a lot of money sometimes to put these on if you're doing them, and it takes a lot of time. I need to hire someone now to help me with managing all of the people. So I decided, well, I'm going to start a little nonprofit where people can just donate. If you feel like you got a lot of value, you can donate. I actually had one of the members say that his company wants to sponsor some of the masterminds. So that's really, really exciting. So that's what I've done. Communityentrepreneur.project.org. You can go there and just see a little bit about it. It's on my website as well, SueBrooke.com. So that's what's developing. It's kind of in the development.
Excellent. No, that's really great to hear. I mean, I'm sure you're going to add a ton of value to hopefully thousands of businesses over time, Sue. So we have a ton of questions. So we're going to jump right in. Those of you who have questions, please go to the questions. Fit in. We'll try to get to as many as we can. Emily writes, how can we find a mastermind group that's the right fit? I like the idea of joining, but I'm nervous about spending a lot on something that's a poor fit.
Wow. Yeah, I think it's just doing research and talking to people. There are a lot of different types of, there's things that people call a mastermind, but they're not really a mastermind. So I guess, I mean, my thoughts would be to do kind of maybe what I did, where you really sit down and look at the people you know, and who do you want to be connected with on a regular basis that you feel that would you could benefit from. So I would maybe start your own, and then if you're looking for a paid one, do a lot of research, definitely, and meet the person that's in charge and see if you connect with them. You know, you will know if you connect with them or not.
Right. So
yeah,
the personal connection is important too.
absolutely.
All right. So then Shomo writes, do you need attendees to sign a non-disclosure?
Okay, so that's very, very good question. So that once we start putting the set masterminds together, yes, there really should be that kind of thing. Right now, we're not doing that because and really there hasn't been anybody like coming in and doing any talking about any real secret things, but it really is what happens in the mastermind stays in the mastermind, and we haven't had any issues with that so far. But yes, on a real one, I think
if you scale
oh
it,
yeah, I think that's important
for sure. Yeah. Tim writes, what do you think about launching a new collaboration, parentheses, informal B2B partnership with one's existing clients in these pandemic times? That's interesting.
So taking your existing clients and forming a mastermind?
I think that's maybe what he means. Yeah.
Okay. I think that's a great idea, actually. I believe Joe, the CPA, I just saw that he's now in here too. Everybody's in there. I know he's starting his own masterminds, and I believe he's getting a lot of his clients too, because he not only just does CPA work, he helps people with their businesses. So he's kind of doing that. Yes, putting together a mastermind with them.
Excellent. So Kathy asks, is there going to be a place for those of us that are listening to get the basic format on how to do this and or participate? So the answer is yes, Kathy. We're working on a resource center, but in the meantime, I think Sue would be happy to connect with you as well. So absolutely, her email's there. Let's see. Tom asks, are you moving towards a formal membership model?
Most likely. That's always been in the works. Right now, I'm just my heart really right now is to help as many entrepreneurs as I can during this time. But yes, I'm having a lot of people ask me, well, are you going to be doing something where we can meet with the same people all the time? So absolutely, yes, is what will happen.
Got it. Tony asked a question. This is really good, interesting one, which is, once the pandemic is over, will your mastermind group start meeting in person? And this is a question I get a lot about, we're in this world where opportunity is suddenly sort of opened up, right? Like we've gone online and we've realized, wow, some things are better online. Some things are easier online. Right?
That's right.
So how do you think about that now between online and offline?
Very interesting. Well, I love meeting in person. I'm the network queen, and I of course I love it. But the times are changing, and right now the world is at your fingertips. It's zero waste right now. So yes, there's people that love being online on a Zoom type thing. And here's the other thing: in my teams of people in one of my organizations, I have people all over the US, so we can't meet in person. We have to meet online. So, but locally, yes, I think it's really important. However, I will tell you that before pandemic, now it might be different after. I love this question because before the pandemic, I was having a hard time getting people to meet in person. Like they're busy, they're busy, they're working, they're doing their business. Like, oh my gosh, and then I have to go to something else, and then I go cook dinner. It was getting really hard to get people to show up. But I have a feeling that after this, people are like, oh my God, I just want to be around people. That might happen. I don't know.
It's going to be interesting to see. I do agree. Now, I've heard exactly the same thing from a bunch of other folks that, part of it is the fact that you're missing that human company. And so, of course, but the second part of it is just the convenience of one click. And all of a sudden, Sunil was pointing out that even the introverts in his meetup end up meeting like 30 people in his meetings, right? Because he has these massive meetups and online networking. And so I think people are starting to sense the difference between the two. And I think the new world is going to be some combination is what I'm thinking. It's going to be very interesting.
I do too.
Yeah. Okay. So Tony asks, what is the difference in your opinion between masterminds and a networking group like BNI? Also, is Mastermind just for business owners?
Is there a mastermind for business owners?
No, he said, what's the difference between Masterminds and BNI? And then he said, should masterminds just be for business owners?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So yes, BNI and masterminds are completely different in my opinion. So BNI is basically a way to go to meetings, connect, get to know people on a weekly basis, and then their job is to go meet one-on-one with people. Right? So Alignable is kind of like that. It's like go meet people one-on-one and then form those relationships and then give referrals to each other. So that's one, it's a referral-based thing. Okay. Masterminds are more of, you're really building like a family. If you're, especially if you're at the same people, you're getting to know them on such a intimate basis. And masterminds are more like you have an advisory board. I think of it as an advisory board. It's like, I'm thinking of starting this new project in my business. You know, what do you guys think of that? And getting, you can even use masterminds as research, you know, like I get a lot of realtors that will ask, well, how do you find a realtor? How do you do that? So they are giving them ideas for their own business.
Got it.
And then is it only for business owners? Well, you know,
yeah,
I've used it for business owners, but I've had in my personal mastermind, I've had people not have a business question. They had more of a personal mindset question of how to manage their personal life along with their business. So yeah, I think masterminds can be for anything, but
But I would assume that if you've got a business owner oriented mastermind, people probably get a lot more out of it if they're business owners, right? Because the kinds of things you have to think about are different. But that's an interesting question.
Yeah.
Let's see. So I will take one more question. And let's see, this one is going to be Suz. Interesting name. Are mastermind groups exclusive, like many lead referral groups are, or are they intended to have multiple people in the same field, area of expertise, line of business? So I guess the competition type of question.
I absolutely love that question because I personally don't believe in competition. I just don't believe in I believe every single person is their own person, and that's what people buy. They buy the person. So for example, realtors, a lot of realtors will say that's ridiculous. It's a huge competition. Well, no, I have realtors that focus only, their focus is on seniors, you know, the families of seniors. That's who they want to serve. And then you've got the other realtors that are in commercial. So if there's a person, I let people decide. I just let them decide. You know, I'll say there's another CPA in there, but there's so many facets to this. But when it's virtual, just think about this. So when it's virtual and you have like Joe, the CPA in New York, and I have another CPA or bookkeeper here, they're really not competing with each other. So they're helping each other in a big way. So it's a personal thing.
Well, that's a nice thing about virtual too, right? Like you can create a mastermind that has a CPA in Boston and a CPA in Atlanta, and they can learn from each other in a very different way. Well, that's sort of interesting. Now I'm thinking maybe you have a mastermind for CPAs from all around the country or florists from all around the country. I mean, that might be interesting.
We've gotten that kind of thing before where it's like, well, out here we're doing it this way, and it's pretty cool. And it just helps people open their minds. I love it.
Excellent. So I think I'm going to pause there and ask you for any final thoughts. And clearly, Gabe will post to the group your email address. You can connect with Sue on Alignable. You can connect with her on email as well. And Sue, you're doing 2 masterminds a week right now, but maybe some of these folks might want to join and
I would love it. Yes, I actually, if you go to just mastermindwithsue.com, mastermindwithsue.com, somebody can put it in the chat there. You can just go there, and that's on my website. You can register for right now, Fridays at 9:30, and they're most likely going to start probably next week on Tuesdays. That's Pacific time. I'm in California, so I'm trying to get the times that are good for all the time zones. My poor friend in Hawaii, she has to get up at 6:30 or get up at 6 to be there. But so yeah, I would love that if people would come on, and I'm happy to help you start your own, or
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you very much, Sue. And then for the folks online, the next event is being scheduled. It's a fantastic one with Tracy Davis. And I think you've met her. She's a local leader. And just if anybody wants to be a local leader, it's localleaders@alignable.com. Gabe will post that link as well. And there's some qualification criteria for that. But that's going to be an interesting one. Tracy's going to talk about education online and how you can actually build a business with education online. So it's going to be really, really interesting. She's another local leader. But so that's it, folks. Please join us for the next one. Thank you so much, Sue. That was super educational. I always learn a ton from these.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks everybody for coming. I hope to hear from you soon.
Excellent. All right. So we